This works. चल रिकॉर्ड होना शुरू हो गया है और सर राशिद आप भी लॉग इन हो गए हैं सर? आपका लगा था कि just go back over here. But I see Mamoon, you've logged in as well.
Yes, I just logged in. Sorry, I was having some issues.
नहीं कोई मसला नहीं, as long as you're able to log in और सर राशिद भी log in हो गए हैं तो I think most of our presenters are here and a quorum is here. Let me just talk to Sir Rashid.
You are muted.
Hello. एक सेकेंड, लेट मी सर राशिद हमारे जो प्रेसिडेंट है मैं उनको जरा देख रहा था कि सर राशिद जो है ना वो है न्यू ऑर्लिन्स में हमारे साथ और एक सेकेंड सर आपका म्यूट आ रहा है, मैं जब क्लिक कर Alright guys, Assalamu alaikum. So we are recording और उसमें ये है कि as I was telling some of the other participants के the purpose of this initial first research meeting or organization that we're doing is to sort of create a cohesion between our sister organizations and basically also within AMCOLANs because mashallah I think with Mamoon just a sec. Sorry. With Mamoon, we're reaching up to like I think 40th, and Mamoon would be able to fill us in के कहाँ तक batches पहुँचे हैं, because I'm not really entirely sure कि कहाँ तक we've been able to reach. तो Sir Rashid will be making a guest appearance. He's our president. तो I just wanted to introduce the organization of AMCOLANA. Basically, this is the pathway that we'll be doing, and we'll get to it in a second. So this is our main core group, and we'll let Sir Rashid see if he can kind of join us and say hi. So let me just see. Maybe he has to log back in and come back in. तो वो he's in sir आवाज आ रही है सर आपकी?
चल
आ रही है सर।
तो आओ चलिए, तस्वीर भी आ रही है या बस सिर्फ वो है?
सर मैं शेयरिंग स्टॉप करता हूँ तो फिर पिक्चर आ जाएगी मेरा ख्याल है। राइट गाइस, यू कैन ओनली सी माय पावर पॉइंट, राइट एवरीबॉडी?
सर पावर पॉइंट नजर नहीं आ रहा। सर पावर पॉइंट नजर आ रहा है।
ओके चलें,
I can see the
sharing. And sir, now I think you have the we should be able to see you with the gallery.
So doctors, AMCOLANs, my name is Rashid Khan and I am from the third batch, and with the help of these young physicians, especially the brother-sister combination and several others, Omar and Amr, we have been able to set up this platform finally. And this is our first introductory meeting which Omar has arranged. And luckily for us, we have a very special guest from Pakistan visiting us. I'm right now in New Orleans, and I've joined my class fellow and the first AMCOLAN principal of Army Medical College, General Salim Ahmed Khan. We call him General Salim Rana, and he's here. And I wanted him to say hello to you. Aye, Salim.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीवन।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम sir, क्या हाल है?
कैसे हैं आप? खैरियत से हैं?
Sir, thank you so much. Thank you for gracing the occasion, or thank you for talking to us.
नहीं, it's my pleasure. और I was just here and Rashid came over to visit me और हम यहाँ पर एक conference में हैं और it's over many years कि Rashid is leading this AMCOLANA forum और इनकी बड़ी वो जो है लीडरशिप है और कोशिश है कि हम इसमें अब I'm very happy to see कि at least this forum is growing और सिर्फ आप ग्रो ना करें, इसके साथ साथ आप जो है अपना में भी अपनी अच्छी प्रेजेंस करें। About 5 years ago I came to अपना and उस वक्त हमारी वहाँ पर बहुत थिन अटेंडेंस थी which was हमें अच्छा नहीं लगा। तो अभी राशिद से हम यही बात कर रहे थे कि आप लोग अपने जो यंगस्टर्स हैं कॉलेज के उनको भी इनकरेज करें, उनको पैट्रोनाइज करें और सीएमएच के और दूसरे भी जो एफिलिएट में आपके कॉलेजेस के हैं उन सबको करें। प्रेजेंटली आई एम डूइंग एज पर वाइस चांसलर नाम्स, तो जितने भी हमारे आर्मी एडमिनिस्ट्रेटेड कॉलेजेस हैं दे आर पार्ट ऑफ नाम्स, तो इन सब में जो भी आपके साथ आप अटेंडेज करेंगे बीइंग एन एल्डर ब्रदर, देखिए आर्मी मेडिकल कॉलेज इज एल्डर ब्रदर, तो इन सबको आप करें। And my best wishes to all of you. And I hope this community will grow and have a good relationship with each other. And over to Rashid again.
Thank you, sir. Or sir, हमने actually some of our invitees, Sir Rashid and Saad is a CMH graduate. So we've started our outreach, inshallah, to CMH or mashallah, you know, hopefully we're hopeful ke actually they're a brother duo that I have, Hamad and Saad. They're both in radiology or mashallah bhi match kiya hai. So they're both from CMH medical colleges. So the aim is ke you know, we'll get this umbrella and strength in numbers and not only create cohesion between different groups or different batches within AMC, but also different institutions ताकि we can, I think कि जितने हमारे numbers हैं and what our achievements are, we can easily compete with the, you know, biggest other colleges, presidents जिस तरह King Edward या खान हैं, क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ AMC में the big thing is people are like 4 years, you know, above and below, they're very close to one another, लेकिन फिर nobody तो वो इस वजह से inshallah will give that, but thank you so much Sir Rashid और thank you for
मैं एक्चुअली एक चीज पूछना चाहता था साद और हमाद से। सो somebody very close to me is the graduate of your college, उसका नाम है इजहान हमजा, you know him?
जी डॉक्टर राशिद, so my brother Hamad is on the line, वो उसका क्लास फेलो है।
अच्छा, तो वो भी यहीं पर कहीं है डैलस में, he is matched. So he actually is the son of one of my other classmates, Dr. Naeem Zafar, who is an anesthesiologist. और वो हमारे पास he's been our guest in our house for 2 years actually, मतलब 2 years running, 1 month each. He did his attachment and then he had excellent scores and credentials, so he matched somewhere very good in Dallas. तो माशाल्लाह, लेकिन I've lost touch with him. बेचारे ने बहुत दफा मुझे फोन किया लेकिन I couldn't answer him. So just convey my regards to him and so can I give me a call and ask him to come over and attend this this meeting also. And for the CMH guys, good news is that General Naeem Naki is also coming to join us in Apna. I just talked to him. We've sent him an invitation. He's accepted. His visa and everything is done. So he'll be there, and there'll be quite a few other senior AMCOLANs. A couple of them from the second batch actually are coming from Pakistan also. So inshallah, with all the hard work we are all putting in, and Omar is actually really a big help in making this forum grow, really, because this is the first time somebody's doing this for AMCOLANA, and inshallah under his leadership this will grow further.
Sir, और वो sir.
बोलो
सर वो कर्नल शकील में वो मिर्जा थे एमकोलियन एसोसिएशन के AAA के, तो दे हैव आल्सो कर्नल हदायत 7th के, और दे हैव रीच्ड आउट एज वेल. तो वो लोग भी बोल रहे थे कि अगर इफ वी कैन हैव sort of a cohesion for spreading the word, तो मैं उनके थ्रू भी I'll reach out through that, क्योंकि they have I think
उमर उसका साथ इस तरह करते हैं, उनका जो एमकोलियंस की वेबसाइट की टैब है ना, वो अपने उस पर रख लेते हैं, जिससे ऑर्गेनाइज जैसे अपना की हुई है ना हमने, तो AAA की भी हम कर लेते हैं. और for you young guys, is Hashim Zeib in?
Sir, Hashim is up there. He's one of our presenters.
हाशिम अस्सलाम वालेकुम बेटे. आपके अब्बा, आपके वालिद साहब ब्रिगेडियर औरंगजेब, he was a year ahead of me, right?
जी sir, he told me like I think you were posted in Nowshera with him, or I think you are from Nowshera.
Right. हाँ बिल्कुल. नहीं, वो जिस वक्त तुम कर रहे थे ना, मैं तुमसे अपोलोजाइज भी करना, जब तुम रेजिडेंसी ढूंढ रहे थे ना, तो उन दिनों I was very sick with the very serious Crohn's disease, and I was completely out of commission. So I always meant to talk to you about that, because your father had asked me to do that, and I think I failed you. So I really need to apologize to you, but it was not by design. It was just that I was completely incapacitated for a couple of years actually. So it was a bad time.
सर कोई ऐसी बात नहीं. In fact, I came to Cincinnati as well, क्योंकि मेरा पहला जो
तुम
स्टॉप
कब आए थे?
सर मेरी I came in 2014 actually.
अच्छा.
हाँ, तो I came to I came to Cincinnati क्योंकि मुझे आपके एक शायद दोस्त हैं डॉक्टर इकबाल, ही told me कि you can go to Cincinnati. डॉक्टर राशिद भी वहाँ है. तो एक और डॉक्टर असद जदून होते हैं, he lives in I think Kentucky, Richmond, Kentucky.
अच्छा.
हाँ, तो actually then I went to him, तो मैं कुछ अर्सा उनके पास रहा, and then I went to Detroit, और फिर मैं डॉक्टर कुरैशी के साथ I did some research.
अच्छा. So from October 2014 to March 2015 I was literally in the hospital admitted. अब यहाँ पर अमेरिका में इतना लंबा कोई एडमिशन होती नहीं है, लेकिन I had a weird Crohn's syndrome flare up which nobody can diagnose. So
सर अभी कैसी तबीयत है
अब
आपकी?
अल्लाह का शुक्र है, it keeps on flaring up every now and then, लेकिन ये क्या, अल्लाह का बहुत शुक्र है, सबकी दुआ है, और it's getting much better. और अब डॉक्टर फरीद को मैं देख रहा हूँ, फरीद, और अब फरीद की अगर दुआ हो,
आज तो
फरीद अगर दुआ दे दे किसी को, तो फिर आप समझ लें कि बस वो तो सीधा जल्दी है.
आज we are getting the VIP galore. Sir Rashid bhi, फिर the principal, and then Sir Suri bhi aa gaye, and they have taken out time. All of you guys, thank you so much for encouraging. I think this is very encouraging. और sir अगर आप कहें तो I'll just start off the program, क्योंकि फिर
go ahead and,
one if it's with your blessing, so we'll
guys
just
will
get started.
excuse me, I have to join General Salim in his dinner, so okay.
Sir, thank you so much, both of you, sir. For sir, thank you so much. Allah Hafiz. और for your young folks, मैं आप लोगों को introduce कराने लगा था बैच से. तो Sir Suri is here. He's one of our legends, basically, of research of AMCOLANs. He's also the chair of our committee, basically Education and Research Committee at AMCOLANA. So I'll just quickly share, Sir Suri, if you're okay. If you give me, तो मैं फिर I'll start the thing. तो we're a little short on time क्योंकि वो Sir Salim और Sir Rashid ने they had to say hi. तो we'll just get started a little bit. सर किसी वक्त भी Sir Suri अगर कोई इशू हो तो मुझे बताइएगा, मैं फिलहाल उसी लिहाज से कर लेंगे. तो let's start with our presentation here. So basically, we were this is the program for today. As most of you saw, I was just going to basically take a back seat and let these three people really talk. Bilal, I don't know, Bilal has joined or not. लेकिन बिलाल had also shown कि वो भी join करेगा. तो what we'll start with now is we'll just get going. But before that, for our folks who are listening in on maybe for our recorded sessions later on, because the meeting is being recorded, what we're trying to establish, again, for the sake of not to be not to sound like a broken record, but we're trying to create cohesion between different batches within the Army Medical College alumni, but also create cohesion between our other brother and sister organizations, which are basically CMH Medical College Lahore. The aim is that with the strengths and numbers that we possess, mashallah, at this point, we should be able to get very, a good traction and help at any stage of our career, whether it's job hunting, fellowships, residencies, research, medical college rotations, and so forth. So our prep today is going to be going through these programs, but we'll come back to this in a second. I just wanted to introduce you the other members who are not here. So Sir Rashid, you've met. We have Sir Amir Iftikhar, and then Sir Tanveer, who's our chair. This is our board of directors. Ma'am Nosheen, Ma'am Shela, Ma'am Ambarbaji, which you know is my sister. Sir Salman was a year ahead of me, and then Sir Suri, who's our main chair. And he'll be basically the, inshallah, going forward, we'll get more people involved. I think Hamad, you're also online. Hamad is Saad's brother, and actually, I do apologize because I had forgotten that relationship initially, because for some reason I had associated, I didn't really think that they were in the CMH group, so I forgot about that. So going forward, guys, let's we can let Saad start first. He's on the East Coast, so he has a little bit of a, he's later than most of our other folks. We do have some other, I think Nimra has also joined us, who's an East Coast participant. So I do want to save a little bit of 10 minutes at the end. So just 5-10 minutes, a brief introduction to whatever, you can just even give an introduction to your pathway. And then basically, Saad, if you just want to tell people how what your background is, and basically, just a few points about the program. This is an introductory talk. Once we get the kinks ready, we get the attention ready, we will have more pivoted talks, and we have people like Mashallah Hamad, who has a lot of experience with matching and optimizing the match. We have Sarsuri, of course, who supervises a lot of research, and then Hashim and Mamoon are also very active in preparations. Mamoon is very, very active in terms of AMC. I think he's going back to Pakistan recently, Mamoon, and he is also planning some talks at AMC. So Ma'am Khatija, who's at AMC, unse bhi I have reached out, and the Sir Shakil Mirza and Sir Hidayat have also told me to kind of try to create a cohesion between the alumni that are over there, so that we can have some more, collaboration going on, and that can include even remote research. So Saad, I'll let you kind of talk to us a little bit about your journey and what your suggestions or pathways are.
Sure, thank you, G. So my name is Saad. I'm a graduate of CMH Lahore Medical College. I graduated in 2019, March of 2019. So मेरा थोड़ा सा pathway इस तरह था कि so I'm currently working as a postdoc research fellow in Boston at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. But it didn't start off like that. So I was initially, because interventional radiology is a very niche subject, or at least at that time it was. So we didn't have a lot of exposure to it. So my parents both are radiologists. My dad's practicing interventional radiology. My mother's a neuroradiologist herself. So caring radiology was, within the family and stuff. But during med school, I think I was involved in research and electives towards interventional cardiology. वो एक procedural aspect of imaging मुझे था interest, but interventional radiology की तरफ नहीं था, so I started off pursuing interventional cardiology. Did that during med school, graduation के बाद steps के बाद applied for jobs broadly. And I think the reason why I got this job was it wasn't just there were definitely a lot of blank emails being thrown, mass emailing ho rahi thi, requesting for job positions, but more than that, I think I was actively seeking mentorship from people. So I was in contact professionally with people even during med school through different societies. जब मुझे था कि मैंने interventional radiology की तरफ जाना है, So there are societies like Society of Interventional Radiology, New England Society of Interventional Radiology, and so on and so forth. So I think through those societies, I developed professional relationship with individuals in the US who then I was in touch with following graduation, and I kept them posted. Gave in a step they the step one, two they the and stuff. And I think that's really what helped me get interviews at different places. And so after graduation, I think हाउस जॉब के साथ step 1 दिया, step 1 के बाद step 2 दिया. कोविड की वजह से थोड़ी सी सिचुएशन लेट होगी, but in the beginning of 2021, I applied, got the eye interventional radiology postdoc position at Beth Israel, and I've been working there for over 2 years. At the end of that, I applied for the match, and I matched into UT Southwestern Interventional Radiology. I'm doing 1 year of internal medicine in Mount Sinai, and then 5 years of interventional radiology in Dallas. So that's really like the timeline of what I have been up to. In terms of like, if there were students on this call or from class fellows, the advice that I would give to them, and I think this is something we could talk about more in the future, is starting while you're ahead. I think when I was in med school, the advice towards step preparation and research and electives तो मिल जाती थी. But I think एक बड़ा crucial element that I wasn't told about was seeking mentorship, because I think it's extremely important to get this sponsorship from someone in the US who can actually pull you here. And for specialties like interventional radiology, one of my colleagues is working with Dr. Adnan Siddiqui at University at Buffalo in neurosurgery. So I think for specialties like that, जिनका आपको इतना exposure during med school नहीं होता, it's extremely important to have some person who can sponsor you so you can do research in the US. एक चीज होती है, one of the things that we knew during med school was कि आप mass emailing कर दें to people to get a research position. But I think um, that's okay to give like a broad general example कि करना क्या चाहिए. But when you come to the specifics, I think there's a lot of etiquette in the way you write an email. There's a lot of insight that you need to develop when you're asking for a research position. You need to understand that it's a very symbiotic relationship. You need to be bringing something to the table as well. It's not just that someone in the US is just going to say, okay, your credentials are good, I'm taking you. So I think that killing grooming was something that I didn't feel I got during med school. So I was sending mass emails and wasn't really getting a lot of replies. It was only जब मैंने ये सब professional societies join की SIR वगैरह, तो वहाँ पे you have med students in the US who are more actively engaged in this process, right? तो उनकी grooming एक back end से आ रही होती है med school में. So उनको देख के shadow करके passively in the shadows आपको फिर realize होता है अच्छा how you should also be approaching people. And I think that's one of the things that helped me secure a research position, but then also helped me during the match process. Because जब आप as an IMG apply कर रहे होते हैं, I think one of the things that they're scrutinizing you on is can we actually tell that this person is an IMG or not? And if you're talking like a US graduate, if you're talking in a very diplomatic fashion, if you're talking in a confident manner, that increases your chances. And Dr. Umar, you mentioned like how can we increase our chances? I think like the sooner you get your exposure towards the US side of things, तो एक है electives तो आ जाते हैं आपको, right? But the other thing is active mentorship. तो ये अगर दो चीजें आपको from like early on during med school मिलने लग जाएं, so they really benefit you towards seeking research positions, or if you're in the like if you're kind of like in the middle, and then towards the match process. So that's my story, and I think that's the reason why I'm stressing on mentorship more is because interventional radiology is a very competitive field. um, but and the average scores were more than what I scored. But because I was able to find a good research position, and the PI that I am working with, was geared towards helping me get more abstracts, get more publications. So the average number of publications that a candidate should have for IR is about 16. I have it written over here. Actually, it's 12. So I had 17 publications by the time I was matching. In terms of score, so the average step 1 score is 250 for an IMG. So my step 1 score was actually 241. So if you think of it उस तरीके से कि अगर आपको पहले से पता है कि 241 है, तो you might get demoralized, just psych yourself out कि maybe I'm not good enough. But what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot more that goes into getting these specialties. Similarly, step 2 for an US IMG is 270 for IR according to 2022 statistics. So मेरा 250 था step 2 में. So even with those scores, which were okay, not as high as the others, with 20 publications, 17 publications, 20 like in the pipeline thing, do teen, फिर US clinical electives and good LORs. I was able to grab a competitive position in interventional radiology at a good program. So going forward, I think if I give advice to anyone, that is the kind of advice I would give. Groom yourself in a way that when you talk to these individuals, you actually make yourself to be a very competitive candidate for whether it's a research position. Yeah, it's the actual match itself. And I can take specific questions if you have any. I can answer those.
Thank you so much, Ad. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So सबसे पहले तो I really appreciate you are very open in telling everything. बहुत कम लोग इस तरह की बातें बताते हैं. I really appreciate that a lot. मेरे ख्याल में if you also add a couple of questions जो बहुत से ज़्यादा लोग पूछते हैं. एक तो ये कि वीज़ा स्टेटस आपका क्या है, और दूसरी बात ये है कि ज़्यादातर लोग फॉर एग्जांपल दोज हु हैव टू कम ऑन अ वीज़ा लाइक J1 और H1, सो वो रिसर्च पोजीशंस उनको मिलती हैं या नहीं मिलती. और दूसरी बात अगर आप थोड़ी सी अगर आप ये बता दो कि ज़्यादातर जो रिसर्च पोजीशंस मिलती हैं वो पेड होती हैं या अनपेड होती हैं, या कुछ जगहों पे आई हैव हर्ड के पहले शुरू में वो अनपेड होती हैं उसके बाद पेड करते हैं. बिकॉज अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल डू हैव दिस क्वेश्चन के वीज़ा का क्या बनेगा और पैसे मिलेंगे कि नहीं. ऑफ कोर्स लाइक इट्स टफ इन बोथ वेज लाइक. तो इसमें व्हाट आर योर थॉट्स अबाउट दैट?
Yep, those are excellent questions. Yeah, I will actually address them directly. So number one, visa status. So I am not a US citizen. I am not requiring, I'm not someone just go visa nahi chahiye. So I needed a J1 visa. I did not have any. So I'm born and raised in Pakistan with a green passport and all that stuff. So to answer your question about J1 visa milta hai nahi. First things first, when we talk about research positions, we need to understand that research positions aapko community hospitals या private hospitals नहीं मिलेंगी. Right? For if you're talking about radiology, you should look towards Emory, Rice, Yale, Beth Israel, Mass General, Harvard Medical School, Stanford. Right? The reason for that is these large academic centers have a lot of funding. ठीक है जी? Funding hai, although these are very big names, but because they have a lot of research, they need people to help them do that research. And there is a very large community of Iranians who have actually come into the system, and there are postdocs everywhere. So I have colleagues in Mass General. So हम यहाँ पे हार्वर्ड और बेथ इजराइल में होते हैं, but we have colleagues at Brigham, at Mass General, at Yale, at Stanford. All of them are foreign medical graduates. So as far as J1 visa मिलने की बात होती है, you get them if you approach academic centers. एक तो चीज़ है आपने पहले अपना narrow करना search into large academic centers. The reason why chances that you'll find funding over there are high. Number one. Number two, I think when you go through the faculty, usually in लोगों की websites are very prolific. So for example, if you go on Harvard Catalyst होता है. Harvard Catalyst के ऊपर every faculty member has their bibliography, but at the same time they also have their grants. So अगर फर्ज किया someone's being funded by the NIH. So we're working on an R01 grant right now for NIH in liver cancer. That's what I'm specifically focused on, liver cancer. So if that gets accepted, तो मेरी जो profile Harvard Catalyst पे वहाँ पे आ जाएगा कि NIH से मैं funding हूँ. And that's one way of narrowing it down कि अच्छा if I do email this person, the response will be, gee, I do have funding, right? And I can take you on board. So the first question, so the answer to your first question is, हाँ जी J1 मिल जाता है, but you have to look towards academic centers. You have to look towards centers जहाँ पे funding है. You have to approach those people जिनको at least who have had a history of taking on research fellows. And one of the ways you can do that is go on Twitter. ठीक है जी. Daldrup lab hai, Yale IR lab hai, minimally invasive lab. You have all these labs already out there on Twitter. People are publishing what they're doing, their websites over there. They give you a good idea, और उन्हें faculty सारी लगाई होती है. They give a good idea कि उनके postdocs कहाँ से आ रहे हैं. ठीक है जी. Second thing is to make sure कि आपका timeline match करे. For example, अब मैं जा रहा हूँ leaving my research position in June क्योंकि मेरा match start हो रहा है. Anyone who wants to replace me will start applying to my position in March. क्योंकि उनको पता है मैं जा रहा हूँ तो मेरे PI जो हैं will be looking for more research fellows. So they will start looking towards emails, finding candidates who want it. So फर्ज किया जून जुलाई इस जब मैच साइकिल मतलब मैं अगर सितंबर में अप्लाई किया जून में मेरा मैच हो गया तो जून से पहले 3 महीने पहले my PI will start looking for research fellows. So first things first, academic. Second is funded positions. Third is timeline. कि वो जनवरी से मार्च, this is what I did. जनवरी से मार्च के दरमियान मैंने लोगों को reach out किया कि do you have any openings or do you have positions which will potentially be open during June, and that's how I got. So my position, I got the interview in April, I got the position in May, and I flew in June. ठीक है जी. So that's the answer to your second question. The third question was कि paid होती है या unpaid होती है. ठीक है. So that's a tricky question. Even if like some faculty members have a funded position, ठीक है, there's a thing known as a 6 month interim period. ठीक है जी, they don't want to take essentially like a big leap of faith on someone. So this is where it really comes down to if you can afford to stay by yourself for 6 months unfunded or not, or for a year unfunded. Usually these large academic centers have a policy कि एक साल से ज़्यादा research fellow को unfunded हम नहीं रख सकते. Mayo Clinic has that policy, Beth Israel has that policy, Mass General has that policy, right? But this is something जो as a candidate you should know कि when you're applying, तो interview के अंदर you should be very honest. एक चीज़ होती है earnestness और एक होती है बिछे जाना. तो बिल्कुल you have to remain in the very middle कि जी ठीक है, I understand that this position may be potentially unfunded. If it is unfunded, I can fund myself or have personal funds enough to sustain myself for 6 months, beyond which it might get difficult. So I'm looking for a research position that may pay me at least half of the year if I'm going to be there. ठीक है जी. So yes, going in sometimes these research fellowships, it really depends. कभी कभार अब जैसे so we're working with a company जो industry funded है, तो कभी कभार you come into a research fellowship और already funds होते हैं. उस funds वो जो like for example $1 million अगर hospital को मिलता है, उसमें से $200,000 जो है वो उस research project को मिलते हैं. 800,000 तो मिलते हैं ना hospital को, तो 200,000 जो मिलते हैं उसमें से एक fixed 50,000 सैलरी होती है पोस्ट डॉक की. वो 50,000 सैलरी एक साल के लिए होती है कि अगर आप इनको फर्ज किया $3,000 या $2,500 पर महीना दे रहे हैं, तो $50,000 शुड बी रिजर्व फॉर द पोस्ट डॉक. इफ यू हैव एन इंडस्ट्री ग्रांट उस तरह का, तो फिर तो आपकी ऑन बोर्डिंग से ही फंडिंग स्टार्ट होती है. बट समटाइम्स फंड्स लिमिटेड होते हैं, तो आपको बिगिनिंग में नहीं मिलते. दिस इज अ गुड क्वेश्चन टू आस्क व्हेन यू आर टेकिंग व्हेन यू आर इन द इंटरव्यू विद द पर्सन. ठीक है जी.
Thank you, Mamoon. I will, Shabash, mashallah, great achievements from you, Saad, or, going to that ethnic group, के Iranians का, and I think that is a niche जो हर जगह established है. जिस तरह MD Anderson पे I work, हमारा association है MD Anderson के साथ, तो Dr. Al-Says हैं, so he's got an Egyptian line, or he basically vets everybody from his med school, and he gets almost like a आप समझ लें एक पैरेलल उन्होंने सिस्टम एस्टैब्लिश किया हुआ है एरास के साथ. ही गेट्स एन एप्लीकेशन साइकिल, उसमें ही सिलेक्ट्स द बेस्ट ऑफ द बेस्ट, brings them over for research publications, and then they get implanted everywhere and get that. So definitely we'll get that. I also had a question in the chat. आपका Sir Noman ने, I think Sir Noman, was that you or uh,
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum, Umar.
Assalamualaikum, sir. I'll introduce you. Sir Noman is our, again, one of our legendary, Sir Suri is online as well. Sir Noman is also one of our very legendary senior researchers, and mashallah, very active in pulmonary. And sir, if you want to say hi and say a few words, then we can go to our juniors who are going to be having a little bit of talk as well.
Okay, sorry. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Yeah, it's actually pretty late over here. So I have been up since 4 a.m. And so I'm from the 17th batch and have been here since 99. So I finished my residency back in 2002, finished my fellowship around 2005, and have been practicing academic medicine for the last almost 18 years. I'm a full professor now with Virginia Commonwealth. I work with a lot of local students and other medical students, our own like VCU, and then some international graduates who come here. So it's really good to see a lot of AMC group being built up. And one of my interests was to see how we can collaborate across and try to support this further. So it's really good to see Umar doing it and this thing coming across. So with Sir Amir Malik, basically we tried to trying to develop postgraduate collaboration. One of my interests is bronchiectasis, and I do cystic fibrosis, so kind of a more local disease here. But I think the equivalent of that in Pakistan would be probably bronchiectasis. So I was trying to see how we can establish something there train non-invasive ventilation, ventilators, ICU medicine. So really was interested in developing those and anything help locally for other people from there, either postgraduate or graduate or undergraduate, to try to see how we can support and collaborate. It's kind of difficult. I don't know the logistics, so I've heard Umar has
Sir,
established something there.
so this was one of the purposes was to kind of get everybody on board and get. I think there's a lot of stuff to unpack. In fact, or usme, I definitely think that if we have different areas or different people concentrating in different parts of this pathway, so just people who are maybe Mamoons stage who have done a lot of pre-USMLE prep and getting people ready for USMLEs, we can do that. And then the another facet would be like interest groups within the medical colleges, which is very common in the United States. I think King Edward and Khan have also started these. So, for instance, pulmonology interest groups or neurosurgery interest groups or radiology interest groups or surgery interest groups. And then in medical colleges, you get 5 or 6 or 10 of you like-minded people, and then they can contact. And then as Sir Noman was saying, I think, sir, the best person would be Sir Suri. Sir Suri, do you want to comment briefly on Sir Noman's? Because I think Sir Suri does do a lot of collaboration. I talked to Sir Jazeb and a lot of the people back home in MH or, they're getting some collaboration here as well. But with this day and age, one of the biggest advantages is just one of my research assistants is actually working in Afghan. Rehab. So he's a final year student. So we do research together. There are some circumventing things. Of course, there's a HIPAA and healthcare where I cannot share sensitive patient information with him. But as far as literature, and non-patient sensitive research, he's getting involved with that. We actually presented 3 things in the Society of Neuroradiology, American Society, and then there's a lot of, I think, room for growth, not only for the profession, like Sir Noman is saying, that people, I think, can learn a lot, but also to like grow at any stage, honestly. There's a lot of fellowships available. So what we'll try to hopefully do going forward is to try to come up with not only these talks, which are more geared towards one part of the pathway, but also to hopefully come up with a list of people who are willing to help out. Not obviously again, to people who are joining in, everybody is volunteering out of their free time. As Sir Noman is saying, he's been up. Sir Shuri was very busy. Sir Farid was very busy as well. So these people have taken time out. Sir Rashid joined us, and the principal of AMC joined us initially as well before the talk started. So all of these people are taking time out of their busy schedules. If they can help, they're great, but not to obviously overburden somebody. If somebody is busy, or don't take that as a discouragement, just keep looking at different options, and we'll try to come up with a collaboration where everybody can hopefully continue to do their. Sir Farid, we also wanted. Sir, आपने कुछ बोलना था? I saw you.
Sir Farid, I think he got called for a telestroke.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So I apologize for that. So basically, we'll get going, and we'll hopefully also. So second thing would be their interest group, and the third thing would be to hopefully come up with some written guidelines where lists or preparatory and other folks are available who can kind of volunteer in their free time if possible. But thank you so much, Hanuman, for sharing your up there. We have Hashim and Mamoon left. Time is a little bit we're getting a little short on time. So what we'll try to do is, because this is recorded, is Hashim, if you want to go first, just talk to people about your journey, or just a little bit of an advice about professionalism, other things, and then we'll go to Mamoon.
Yeah, thank you for letting me speak. I graduated from Ari Medical College in 2013. Uske baad I did my house job. I applied for my US visa, lekin it got rejected. After 7-8 months, I applied again. Uske baad I was fortunate enough to get a visa. Lekin when I came to the US, I was not certain कि मैंने कौन सी specialty करनी है. Initially, I started working with Dr. Suri actually at Zenith Qureshi Stroke Institute. Or before applying for the match, I wanted to get some experience. And I was interested in doing research as well. तो उसके बाद I applied to different universities to get some paid research, and I was lucky कि Mayo Clinic में I got 2-year research paid position, and that was basically in simulation education. And at the same time, I completed my steps as well. And after 2 years, me and my wife, we applied for a couples match actually. So my wife matched, and that year I did not match because that year I was applying for surgery, and my wife, she was applying for internal medicine. So we had a baby as well, so it wasn't possible. कि हम लोग दूर दूर रह के डिस्टेंस रिलेशनशिप. लेकिन उसके बाद मेंटरशिप की बात की थोड़ी देर पहले साद ने. आई थिंक इट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, क्योंकि जब आई वाज वर्किंग एट मेयो क्लिनिक, द मेंटर आई वाज वर्किंग, I had a good time with him. So he had a lot of say, people knew him around. So he told me, whether you want to apply for surgery or any other specialty, I'll be willing to help you. So the next year I applied again, and I applied again for surgery. Like, my interview calls, they were all away from South Dakota. And at South Dakota, the only option I had left was family medicine. So my mentor, he helped me a lot. My research background, it helped me a lot as well. And I was fortunate enough, I stayed in South Dakota for 3 years. And then during my 3 years, I was heavily involved in medical student education, resident education as well. And then after my graduation, I spent another year at Mayo Clinic. I worked more on simulation education. And then the other part of research that I want to emphasize on is that, obviously you get a lot of publications as well, but at the same time, it will help you secure a green card as well. I mean, a lot of people, they don't know about it, but you can apply for EB2 NIW. And then, on the basis of that, the process is much quicker. So fortunately, I applied for it, and it got approved as well. And then right now I signed a job with University of Minnesota in family medicine. And then even now I'm involved in medical student education, resident education as well. And more recently, because I know a lot of AMCOLANs, they try to get observerships, and it's not easy. So I talked to my faculty, I talked to the medical education department as well, and observership, it got approved. So I posted on the Stepping AMCOLAN group on Facebook as well. I told Mamoon as well, I have 3 students from Pakistan who are coming for observership in the coming months. So anyone who's interested in doing observership, applying for the MASH, need letter recommendations, I'm more than happy to help. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Harshim. That was amazing, man. I should have probably touched base with you about that green card thing. On a side note, today is sort of important day for me. I just became a U.S. citizen. So after 16 years of long winding journey in the United States, so it does happen. But mashallah, Allah ka shukar hai. So thank you so much, Hashim. I think that's a very important part of our journey as well. I'm making all of these points, and one of the reasons is that we've been joined by a few people. I think what we can fragment our talks is make them more specific towards certain categories. So usme, I think immigration and visa, especially like Saad was saying, and then you have elaborated some things as well. So I think those are important. मुझे याद है कि Khan, when I was doing research, so I talked to a few senior final year medical colleges. उस वक्त I just had the courage, तो मैंने पूछा कि भाई मतलब I just want to get some guidance about the immigration, और मतलब फ्यूचर के बारे में मैंने आपसे गाइडेंस लेनी है, वो माय वर्ड्स. तो दे सेड कोई हम नजूमी लग रहे हैं आपको कि हम आपको फ्यूचर. So not everybody is as accommodating, especially if you go out of your institution. So I think if we have a good family environment that we can create, so we'll get going. And I think Sir Salman Madar sir has joined us. Sir Salman, thank you so much for joining us as well. If you allow me, I do want to take the talk a little bit to Mamoon, and Mamoon and Saad. I have a little bit of a specific task from both of you, and Hamad is also listening. I think if Hamad, you're listening, we can have you talk as well a little bit about the things. But for Saad, we need to generate a little more contact with CMH. So if you have people who have graduated or who can get in touch for our next talk, we would love to have more people like at least listen in from a student's point of view and also from recent graduates. So we would definitely do that. Mamoon, you're our kind of link man for the most recent recent AMC, and I think you're going back to Pakistan. So please, I've talked to Ma'am Khadija, and I did convey to her as well. So, but if you can, also sort of get that ball rolling, कि अगर कोई recent graduates हैं या final year students या people, तो please get them involved and get them interested into the group. क्योंकि जिस तरह मैंने I keep on harping again and again, strength in numbers. The more people we get involved, easier it will be. क्योंकि अगर 3-4 mentor ही हों, वही सारा load उठा रहे हो, तो it becomes hard for us as well, right? क्योंकि आप हर वक्त you're not, आपके family commitments हैं, other things हैं, you may not have the time to take for doing these talks. So I really appreciate all of our presenters for giving time out. And Mamoon, I'll let you talk, and then Sir Salman, I'll end it with you. And then if there are any questions, Mamoon, please, briefly, if you want to tell us a little bit about your journey, but also your engagement in Pakistan and with other local batches that you've done and you've been mentoring. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So, I'm Mamoon Ahmed from 36th MBBS. तो मेरा बेसिकली इरादा तो यही था, यूएस अमेरिका काफ़ी पहले से था कि करनी है, लेकिन जब मैं एएमसी के अंदर था तब कोई ज़्यादा फोकस तो इस चीज़ की तरफ कोई नहीं मैंने किया था। आगे पीछे की काम करता रहता था। उसके बाद जब एएमसी से मैं निकला, उसके बाद पहले तो कुछ अर्सा मैं घर में बैठ के उसकी तैयारी की, उसके बाद साथ हाउस जॉब थोड़ी बहुत कुछ महीने की, फिर दोबारा उसको ब्रेक करके की। लेकिन अब जो सबसे मेन चीज़ है जो कि मेरे ख्याल में आई हैव सीन विद मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल हु वांट टू डू यूएसएमएलई, जिनके लिए एक जो मेरी टॉक का हिस्सा अगर बन जाता है, वो ये है कि टाइम्स आर चेंजिंग सिंस आई अप्लाइड फॉर द मैच। इट्स लाइक ऑलमोस्ट, ऑल्दो इट्स जस्ट लाइक 4 years, लेकिन उसमें स्टेप 2 सीएस भी खत्म हो गया, उसमें स्टेप 1 जो है वो पास फेल हो गया। तो इसने गेम को बहुत ज़्यादा चेंज कर दिया है। अब जो है इट इज़ लाइक जो यूएसएमएलई होती है, कम्पिटिटिव एक चीज़ है, जो पे एक प्रोग्राम डायरेक्टर के व्यू से देखते हैं, जो कि सर सलमान मुझसे ज़्यादा बेहतर इसको ऐड कर सकते हैं। मेरा जो अपनी थॉट्स हैं उसमें वो ये है कि अब ज़्यादातर लोग जो है इवन हमारे एएमसी से ही दे आर डूइंग देयर यूएसएमएलई एटलीस्ट स्टेप 1 ड्यूरिंग देयर मेडिकल स्कूल, जो कि सिर्फ पास फेल है, तो उसको आपने पास फेल ही करना है, आपको उसमें कोई बहुत ज़्यादा जान मारने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, आपने कोई स्कोर ज़्यादा नहीं लेना। तो जो अगर कोई मेडिकल स्टूडेंट है, अगर उसको मैं एडवाइस इस टाइम पे देता हूँ, तो वो यही है कि अपने 4th ईयर नहीं तो फाइनल ईयर में ट्राई टू जस्ट गेट डन विद योर स्टेप 1। और स्टेप 2 CS तो है ही नहीं, सिर्फ आपने आगे सीके देना है, और सीके जो है आप सॉर्ट ऑफ फाइनल ईयर के हम जो सब्जेक्ट्स हैं वो वही इसमें आ जाते हैं। हमारे एएमसी के जो अभी जो यंगेस्ट ग्रुप्स में जो है वो एक 41st MBBS का बंदा मैच हुआ था पिछले साल, जो कि लाइक व्हेन ही अप्लाइड फॉर द मैच ही वाज इन हिज फाइनल ईयर, और वो यानी कि नवंबर में वो ग्रेजुएट हुआ, और उसी मार्च में अगले वो मैच हुआ, और जून में उसने अपनी रेजिडेंसी स्टार्ट कर दी। तो सॉर्ट ऑफ लाइक आई थिंक दिस वाज अनहर्ड ऑफ इन एएमसी, क्योंकि और उसकी वजह कुछ ये भी दरमियान में आ जाती थी कि ना उसको स्टेप 2 CS देना पड़ा, उसने इलेक्टिव्स उसको नहीं करने पड़े। आई डोंट थिंक सो, आई माइट बी अ लिटिल रॉन्ग, लेकिन मेरा नहीं ख्याल कि उसने कोई खास रोटेशन अमेरिका में क्यों हुई थी, क्योंकि उस टाइम पे कोविड का टाइम था और सब कुछ। तो द थिंग विच आई गाइड मोस्ट ऑफ द मेडिकल स्टूडेंट्स, जो इस टाइम पे एक और फाइनल ईयर मेडिकल स्टूडेंट है, वो प्लानिंग टू अप्लाई फॉर द मैच, अपकमिंग मैच, यानी कि वो अभी फाइनल ईयर में ही है, वो मैच अप्लाई करेगा, और ही विल ग्रेजुएट इन नवंबर दिसंबर, एंड इफ ही मैचेस ही विल स्टार्ट हिज रेजिडेंसी इन जुलाई। तो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ ये है कि आप इस टाइम पे एज सुन एज पॉसिबल स्टेप 1 करें, स्टेप 2 CS आपको करना नहीं है, सीके करें, और उसके बाद डिपेंडिंग ऑन व्हाट स्पेशलिटी यू वांट टू परस्यू, उसमें अगर आपको पहले से कुछ आइडिया हो कि मैंने रेडियोलॉजी करनी है और मैंने न्यूरोलॉजी करनी है और इंटरनल मेडिसिन करनी है, तो उसमें देन यू फाइंड मेंटोर्स। अगर हम शुरू से, अगर आपने एज अ कंपेटिटिव स्पेशलिटी परस्यू करनी है, लाइक साद वाज सेइंग के रेडियोलॉजी, इंटरवेंशनल रेडियोलॉजी, तो ही जॉइंड ग्रुप्स, ही हैड मेंटोर्स। वो आखिरी टाइम पे अपने यूएसएमएलई करने के बाद अगर वो सोचता कि यार मैंने जो है इंटरवेंशनल रेडियोलॉजी करनी है, तो ही वुड हैव जस्ट स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम डे 1 एट दैट टाइम, सो ही हैड लाइक बैकग्राउंड thoughts what he wants to do. Or I'm in my 3rd year of internal medicine residency at this time, or inshallah I'll be starting as a hospitalist where I am doing my residency. So I would be here, I would also be I'll try to have observers over here also. लेकिन अगेन जो मेरा अपना जर्नी था, उसमें कुछ जो मेरे लिए चीज़ें इंपॉर्टेंट थी। अब यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ साउथ डकोटा को अगर हम देखें, तो उसमें आई थिंक प्रॉब्ली यूएस में जो सबसे ज्यादा एमकोलियंस आए हैं मेरे ख्याल में यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ साउथ डकोटा आए हैं, जो कि इट माइट बी अ सॉर्ट ऑफ न्यूज़ फॉर मोस्ट ऑफ द एमकोलियंस. उसमें द harbingers वर सर हाशिम्स wife. She was the first one, I believe, to come to University of South Dakota from Emcolians. Next year, Sir Hashim himself came in family medicine. फिर उसके बाद एक 35th के सर अरसलान है, वो आए. उससे अगले साल मैं आया. फिर एक 38 का अमार है, वो आए. और इस साल एक 39th की एक हरीम है, वो मैच हुई है. सो हमारे काफी ज्यादा बंदे इसमें आ गए. तो जो मैंने देखा जिस टाइम पे मैच अप्लाई कर रहा था, तो या तो आपको स्कोर्स आपके बहुत ही एक्सेप्शनल हो तो आपको वो फायदा दे सकते हैं, या फिर आपके कंटेक्ट्स और कंटेक्ट्स आपकी अलुमनाई बनाती है. और उसके बाद या तो आपने रिसर्च की हुआ है साद सिंह. जहाँ तक सिर्फ रिसर्च करने की पेपर्स की बात है, उसमें मेरा थोड़ा सा आई माइट बी लिटिल बायस्ड, लेकिन जो मैंने मेरी अपनी अंडरस्टैंडिंग इसमें रही है, जस्ट द नंबर्स डोंट मैटर. या तो आपके पास इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग लेटर किसी की तरफ से हो जो कि आपकी उसको पुश करे, लाइक साद वॉज सिंह के इनके जो पीआई थे उन्होंने इनकी हेल्प की. अगर कोई एमकोलियन सिर्फ एएमसी के टाइम पे सिर्फ रिसर्च पब्लिश कर रहे हैं, जो कि कुछ मुझे कांटेक्ट करते हैं कि हमारे 8 पेपर हो गए हैं, तो मैं उनसे ये कहता हूँ कि तुमने स्टेप 1 किया कि नहीं किया. वो उन्होंने नहीं किया हुआ होता. तो मेरे ख्याल में 8 पेपर से बेहतर है पहले बंदा स्टेप 1 करके बेशक एक पेपर ही पब्लिश कर दे. उसके बाद अगर, क्योंकि यू आर रनिंग ऑल्सो, आपका टाइम ऑफ ग्रेजुएशन दैट डिपेंड्स अ लॉट. आपकी फिर रिसर्च देखी जाती है, आपकी एक्स्ट्रा करिकुलर देखी जाती हैं. तो उस लिहाज से इट्स लाइक अ होल थिंग विच यू नीड टू टेक केयर ऑफ. अगर आप सिर्फ एक रिसर्च के ऊपर लगे रहें या सिर्फ एक ऑब्जर्वरशिप करने में लगे रहें, तो उससे इतना फायदा नहीं होता. आपने पूरी एप्लीकेशन को अमेंड करना होता है. और नाउ इट्स गेटिंग रियली कम्पिटिटिव इंटरनल मेडिसिन भी. तो उसमें मेरे ख्याल में कि टाइम इज ऑफ एसेंस, जो क्या सबसे ज्यादा मैंने इस टाइम पे चीज नोट की. एंड आई ट्राई टू टेल एवरीवन, स्टेप 1 टाइम पे करें, स्टेप 2 टाइम पे करें, एंड अप्लाई फॉर द मैच. ज्यादातर लोग इस टाइम पे इंटरनल मेडिसिन में जो मैंने देखा है वो अप्लाई कर रहे हैं, दे आर फ्रेश ग्रेजुएट्स और लाइक विद इन 1 to 2 years.
Mamoon, I have a question for you. I remember, you applied for the match. You were a very good applicant. You had really good scores. You were a fresh graduate. You had done some really good rotations, and despite of that, you did not match that year. तो जो एमकोलियंस जो फर्स्ट टाइम मैच नहीं करते, व्हाट एडवाइस वुड यू गिव देम कि नेक्स्ट ईयर आपने किस तरह से मैच अप्लाई करना, अपने अपनी सीवी किस तरह से इंप्रूव करनी है, अपने अपनी टाइमलाइन क्या रखनी है अपनी सीवी इंप्रूव करने के लिए?
आई थिंक दिस इज अ गुड क्वेश्चन. बल्कि रिसेंटली मुझे एक एमकोलियन की कॉल आई, वो मुझे कहता है कि आप लाइक अलॉट ऑफ ऑलमोस्ट एवरी एमकोलियन नोस कि आई डिडंट मैच फॉर द फर्स्ट ईयर, आई मैच्ड इन द सेकंड ईयर. तो वो मुझे फोन करके कहता है कि सर आपसे मैंने एक क्वेश्चन पूछना है. मैंने कहा क्या? कहता है कि हाउ व्हाट वाज योर जर्नी फ्रॉम बीइंग गोइंग अनमैच्ड टू बिकमिंग चीफ रेजिडेंट ऑफ योर प्रोग्राम. तो मैंने उसको कहा कि यार मेरे ख्याल में गोइंग अनमैच्ड इज नॉट दैट ऑफ अ स्टिग्मा व्हिच वी फील लाइक, एंड बिकमिंग अ चीफ रेजिडेंट इज नॉट दैट बिग ऑफ अ थिंग व्हिच वी फील लाइक. तो उसमें अगर नहीं मैच होता तो आई वाज सॉर्ट ऑफ लाइक क्वेश्चनिंग व्हाट टू डू. मेरे पास उस टाइम पे 2 ऑप्शन थी. एक ये थी कि मैं रिसर्च राउट पकड़ूं, दूसरा ये था कि मैं ऑब्जर्वरशिप्स या करूं, रोटेशंस करूं. मैंने बहुत से लोगों से बात की थी. मेरे सर बिलाल ने से मेरी बात हुई, और एक और हमारी मैडम थी, उनसे 31st की उनसे बात हुई. तो मेरे लिहाज से आई टुक द रूट ऑफ डूइंग ऑब्जर्वरशिप्स एंड मेकिंग कनेक्शंस ओवर डूइंग रिसर्च. उसमें कुछ चीज़ें थी. एक तो मेरे पास अगेन उस टाइम पे पैसे भी नहीं थे कि मैं अपना 6 महीने से 1 साल जो है वो करूं, अनपेड करूं. दूसरी बात ये थी कि जब आप मैं अनमैच्ड किया तो इट वाज मार्च में मुझे पता लगता है कि मैं अनमैच जाता हूँ. और उसके बाद अगर मैं करना शुरू करूँ, ढूंढने की शुरू करूँ, तो लोग कहते थे अच्छा फिर तुम वीजा करते करते सब कुछ करते अक्टूबर नवंबर में आओगे हमारे पास करने, और फिर आप अगले साल तो मैच हम नहीं तुम्हें रिकमेंड करेंगे करो, तो तुम्हें 1.5 साल हमारे साथ रहना, उसके बाद आगे जाना. जिस तरह साद ने कहा कि मार्च टू जून जो है वो ज्यादातर दे आर लुकिंग फॉर द न्यू रिसर्च पोस्ट डॉक्टरल फेलोज. तो उसमें मेरे ख्याल में मुझे ये लगा कि मेरी टाइमलाइन जो है उसमें लूज हो रही थी, कि मेरी तो कोई प्रिपरेशन नहीं थी इन टर्म्स ऑफ फाइंडिंग मेंटोर्स, ट्राइंग टू रीच आउट टू देम. तो आई टुक द राउट ऑफ लाइक डूइंग रोटेशंस. उसमें मैंने स्टेप 3 भी साथ अपने ऐड किया. और जो मेरा पहला मैच था उसमें मेरी, जब मैं आया था, जब स्टार्ट किए थे मैच अप्लाई किए थे, मेरी टोटल 1 हफ्ते की रोटेशन थी और मैंने मैच अप्लाई किया था. तो मेरे लेटर्स ही पूरे अपलोडेड नहीं थे. लेकिन अगेन हो सकता था मैच, उसमें कुछ मेरी इंटरव्यूज की भी गलतियां थी. मैंने आई वाज सॉर्ट ऑफ लाइक ओवर कॉन्फिडेंट कि शायद मेरा मैच हो जाए, लेकिन मेरा नहीं हुआ था. तो आई थिंक डूइंग ऑब्जर्वरशिप्स, मेकिंग कनेक्शन वाज द बिगेस्ट थिंग. मैं साउथ डकोटा आया तो मेरे कनेक्शन थे जो कि अभी यहाँ पे बैठे हुए हैं, सर हाशिम, इनकी वजह से मेरे यहाँ पे मैच हो गया. तो ये ना होते तो शायद मैं आज साउथ डकोटा में ना होता, आज मैं कहीं शिकागो में होता, वहाँ पे मेरा एक बड़ा अच्छा कंटेक्ट था.
नहीं, I agree. I think without contacts, especially आजकल की world में with the competitiveness जो बढ़ती जा रही है, step one score out of the window. Without contacts, you cannot get your door and your foot in the door, and that's what you need. आपको एक interview चाहिए और उसके बाद आप आगे जो है वो जा सकते हैं. तो मैम निम्रा has I think a question as well. She's one of our guests. तो मैम मैं आपको we're almost nearing the end. तो इस दफा थोड़ा सा we've been back and forth. लेकिन at this point, मैम निम्रा, if you have I think you have a question, please you can unmute and ask if you have.
थैंक यू सो मच फॉर गिविंग मी द अपॉर्चुनिटी. मेरे लिए ये बड़ा एक जो है इसकी टाइमिंग काफ़ी रिलेटेबल है. आई एम अ ग्रेजुएट ऑफ 2018 38th MBBS एंड मैं डेलावेयर में रह रही हूँ. माय हस्बैंड इज़ अ साइकाइट्रिस्ट हियर. आई अप्लाइड फॉर इंटरनल मेडिसिन. आई वेंट अनमैच्ड. माई स्कोर्स आर इन 230s और मैं इस वक्त जो है आई फाउंड आउट इन मार्च दैट आई वेंट अनमैच्ड और आई वाज वेरी होपफुल कि मैं मैच हो जाऊंगी. तो मेरे लिए अगेन जैसे मामून ने कहा कि एक डिसीजन बहुत मुश्किल था कि वेदर आई नीड टू लुक फॉर अ पोस्ट डॉक पोजीशन और आई नीड टू डू मोर ऑब्जर्वरशिप्स. सो एट दिस पॉइंट इन टाइम अगेन टाइमिंग इतनी फेवरेबल नहीं है. आई एम रिलाइंग टुवर्ड्स मोर ऑब्जर्वरशिप्स एंड networking and making connections. और मेरे लिए काफ़ी heartening चीज़ है कि AMCOLANs have come together to make this forum. बड़ा surprising था मेरे लिए to learn about this meeting. I've never seen anything like this in the past. Sir Mamoon has been very helpful. और again आप ठीक कह रहे थे कि जो junior batches हैं उनका आपस में contact ज़्यादा है, लेकिन जो previous batches हैं उनसे हमारा connection इतना strong नहीं है. तो again I'm just putting myself out there, letting the AMCOLAN clan ये सारे जो भी हैं and Dr. Malik as well from CMH College, just like sharing my story. और इसमें एक चीज जिसका बार बार emphasis हो रहा है, that's finding a good mentor. At this point, I'm struggling with that part कि how, because I'm not in a research postdoc position, कोई ऐसी नहीं है. I'm at home, I'm doing random observerships किसी private clinic में, कहीं inpatient. How can I find that inpatient rotation और कोई suggestions जो specifically मेरी तरफ directed हो सकती हैं at this point? I won't take more time than that. That's just like me putting my plea to help at this point out in this forum. Thank you.
And I'll let Saad and Mamoon and Hashim kind of talk into that. लेकिन Nimra, what we can do is एक तो ये है कि one of the reasons for this talk was to introduce you guys to the AMCOLANA organization जो हमने start की है. I think Mamoon and Hashim are on the WhatsApp group. अगर आप Nimra, you're not on that, तो आप मुझे मैसेज कर दें. I will या हम में से किसी को भी you can and we'll add you to that group. तो for my practical purposes, तो I would just suggest कि अपने alumni association के अंदर try to reach out as much as possible. Sir Suri, Sir Adnan Qureshi, and Sir Noman are world-renowned names, honestly, in terms of research. And we don't know कि मतलब हमने उनसे इतना contact नहीं हम क्योंकि हम लोग हाशिम ने तो I think has done with Sir Adnan, and some people don't know. So these are all that you can kind of reach out to, and then I'll let Mamoon or Saad answer how to find a good mentor.
Before I hope I'm not trying, disrupting the forum, but I like to add a few things before you guys start. Okay, so Salman here. I'm.
Sir, let me just. I'll add you to the spotlight. Yeah.
Okay. So if you don't mind, I'm sorry. I know I'm disrupting the forum, but as a program director, I have to say a few things. So Alhamdulillah, I've been a program director for more than 10 years. I'm in internal medicine. I run a big program. I have a big research center as well. No AMCOLAN has still contacted me, or you guys don't know that I'm out there.
Sir, honestly, I didn't realize that. Actually, that is the whole purpose of this organization. क्योंकि मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि not to like digress, but radiology, as Saad was saying, is very competitive. ठीक है? We've been able to match one Pakistani into our program every year. और the main reason is कि we get them through the door first. लेकिन AMCOLANs जिस तरह पहले reach out करते थे again क्योंकि वो late हो जाते हैं. मामून का group is something different. वो आपस में ज़्यादा contact करते हैं. So basically, I think we need to get this awareness कि where is who. हमने lists भी पहले बनाई हुई हैं in the past, but again.
I put it on my LinkedIn. I've asked people, that if anybody wants to do research, I'm running 10 trials right now. 10 clinical trials I'm running right now. I've opened to everybody. Whoever wants to come in, they can round with me sporadically, and but I need a commitment for 1 year research, like you said. Without that, nobody's going to give it to you, right? So, and I'll mentor them. I've mentored so many people. I would love to mentor people from my own college, man, but nobody comes. I've told a lot of guys that, hey guys, just reach out to me. Yes, we are not a big university program. I'll give you that. Okay, we are a university affiliated program, but it's a 75 resident program. It's a big program. So, and it's a big teaching hospital. So,
exactly, sir. And yeah, I think, sir, thank you so much for, people like you, or that is my whole point. क्योंकि हम लोगों ने our presence in AMC and even now with CMH Medical College is quite we're quite proliferative in America, लेकिन we are very fragmented compared to the other organizations who are very cohesive and know where their mentors are. So I think we need to know who everybody is. अगर there's a change, we've made these efforts in the past. 3-4 ग्रुप्स को पता चलता है, बैचेस को पता चलता है, ऊपर नीचे के बिलाल तक पीपल लाइक आई वाज फ्रॉम द 28th, तो 32nd 33rd तक लोगों ने मुझे कांटेक्ट किया. उसके बाद ईदर यू आल्सो गेट बिजी, अगर आप किसी को फॉरेन ना अकोमोडेट कर सको, दे गेट डिस्करेज्ड. तो जैसे मैंने कहा है कि मेंटरशिप या these talks are all.
Anybody looking for research, you can ask them my numbers. If you want my email, I can put it on the forum over there. Ask them to reach out to me. We have a proper way that we can get people in. Now, there's one caveat, obviously. It's going to be unpaid research. I mean, okay. So,
no, sir, I think that's very useful. Agar aap, if you can let me know, so we'll put this out there. Mamoon is also, I think, traveling to Pakistan, and I was saying Saad and Mamoon. I am honestly, I had reached out to Ma'am Khadija as well and other people as well. We need to generate this interest and in our recent graduates and in our recent people to reach and be cohesive. लेकिन मेंटर्स का भी एक पूल होना चाहिए, क्योंकि आई हैव एक्सपीरियंस दिस. जब अगर एक दो मेंटर ही मतलब 30-40 पीपल पकड़ने की कोशिश करें, दैट बिकम्स वेरी हार्ड. And you should not be disappointed for folks who are listening or will be listening online when I post this. Mentorship जिस तरह सलमान ऑफर कर रहे हैं, he's very accomplished, mashallah. You reach out to him. If he can accommodate you or you meet his requirements, so you will inshallah be beneficial. Lekin don't
and listen, whoever comes to me, I give them a letter recommendation, and my college people, I'll give you an extra bright letter recommendation, man. I mean, I've trained. It's disappointing that all my years I was just able to train 2 AMCOLANs, which is but still I did.
I absolutely, I think, sir, we should definitely reach out, and I really appreciate your offer. This is very generous. Everybody is I think again my point is all of us, Mamoon, Hashim, Saad, Hamad, everybody of us who are volunteering and people who are listening, we're there, but don't feel discouraged अगर वो बंदा फौरन आपको respond नहीं कर सकता. There are family things that are going on. उनके अपनी career busy हो सकते हैं. They may or may not have opportunities. So keep reaching out to multiple people. Going back to Nimra's point, I think Empolean alumni is a good source, but also keep emailing people. Don't get discouraged. Agar if somebody doesn't respond in time, there could be don't burn bridges in the United States. That's my first point. Don't write them an angry email that hey, I contacted you 5 times and you haven't written me an email. I have some juniors who got mad at me saying, sir, aapne pehle, you are doing this, and I had to go back to my AMC mode to kind of, say कि भाई आपके 0 days कैसे निकले हैं, अगर if you're talking like this to a senior. तो लेकिन ये है कि that burns a bridge, right? क्योंकि अभी अगर वो बंदा आपकी हेल्प नहीं कर सकता, तो like Saad, for instance, when he graduates 5-6 years later, he'll be in a position to run his own research program. Mamoon will be like inshallah, या जिस तरह Hashim is going, or Sir Salman is already very mashallah very accomplished. So I would say कि utilize these folks, but also don't अगर नहीं हो रहा तो don't get discouraged. Keep reaching out to multiple people, and then when you reach out, be sure that you're going to be able to commit, as Sir Salman is saying. Listen to what the priorities are, listen to what they need. All right. So, Sir Salman, any more words, sir?
I can talk for 1 hour if you want me to, but
sir, next, Sir Rashid also took some technical issues. Sir Rashid and our principal from AMC was.
Look, I'll give you 2-3 points from a program director's point of view. Okay, I'll tell you that. So I think you guys, did the best thing. The year of graduation is very important. And now because it's getting more competitive, everybody's, scoring since step one is pass fail. The best edge is, research. That will get you places, and contacts. These are the two things which will, get you the interview, or get and a good letter of recommendation. I mean, think about it. If somebody gets a letter of recommendation from a big institute, of course I will offer him, and of course I will entertain his, application better than another one I don't even know. But still, so don't find some good research. That is important, because this is very good. My program was not giving because of COVID issues. We were not offering J1s, but now from Alhamdulillah, I fought for it. I came on J1, so I told them next year, inshallah, we'll get J1s as well. Okay, so we'll be giving out J1s next year. So I can help people out through there as well. And like you were saying, good mentorship, man. Somebody needs to guide you what to do, and pick your I would say aapka jo career pathway, what you want to do after. Pick it right now. Think what you want to do, and stick to that, because like for example, I have like the trials which I'm running right now. Okay, so even anybody who wants to, if somebody wants cardiology, I can put him on that one. Somebody wants pulmonology, we have a COPD and a sleep apnea trial going on. Somebody's wants ID, we have a COVID trial going on. So we can do that as well. And if you put that on your CV that you did that in the US, that's going to take you places. Because then if you guys, inshallah, when the interview sessions come closer, I can mentor you, on how to give an interview. Because you need to know, like in this country, we say, you need to know how to sell yourself. Okay, because you just have 10-15 minutes in front of the whole panel of seasoned faculty, and how to use simple things, how to direct the interview towards your interest and gather their interest, and things to do, prepare, because you just cannot walk in and interview and expect you're gonna ace it. So this is the only 2 cents I had, inshallah. And अगर किसी को और चाहिए तो सर, I'm always available. मैंने अपनी ईमेल कर दी, आप प्लीज मुझे ईमेल कर दें. If you can want, I can put my email as cell phone number as well. WhatsApp me, आप वो तो आपको मिल जाएगा. WhatsApp me directly. Inshallah, I'll do whatever I can.
Sir, are you on वो AMCOLANA पे आप हैं sir?
बिल्कुल हूँ मैं सर.
सर तो आपको मैंने वो if you are willing, तो हमने जो this a lot of these members जो आप present कर रहे हैं, we're part of Sir Shuri's group of like research and education, so we'll definitely, I think, benefit a lot from your presence. अगर आप and again, I'm not to pressurize anybody, क्योंकि आप, I know कि आप लोगों का, it's very grateful for you to come in and give us this talk and offer this as well. So I'll reach out, inshallah, sir, and I'll have ma'am, Dr. Sabina, ma'am, if you want to unmute, and I think you have a question.
जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम. Wonderful forum, बड़ा ज़बरदस्त. I'll just introduce myself. I'm from 16th MBBS. I'm currently based in Saudi Arabia. I'm here to seek guidance regarding my children. उन लोगों को भी आप लोगों की तरह काफ़ी शौक है अमेरिका जाने का, और बेटी मेरी अभी 2nd ईयर में है शिफा में. अब मुझे आप लोगों से ये पता करना था कि जो ऑब्जर्वरशिप जो आप लोग मेंशन करें, दैट डू यू मीन इलेक्टिव्स?
जी मैम, I'll let these talk. लेकिन there are 2 types of observerships. One या जो American clinical experience basically इस umbrella के अंदर हम कहते हैं, and one is for medical students. जब medical students हो medical colleges के अंदर, तो they can do what we call electives. They have different names there for our medical schools. जो यहाँ पे अमेरिका में है, they're called away rotations or sub internships. And basically in informal way, they're electives. They're only open to medical students. Or observerships are generally postgraduate लोगों के लिए, and that's mainly for people who've already graduated. उनके लिए observerships हैं, and they're a clinical experience. But Mamoon or Saad or Hashim, if you guys want to add anything about this.
Yes, exactly. Like you said, जो observership होती हैं जब आप एक दफा graduate कर जाते हैं, तो sort of like you cannot touch the patient. तो उस वजह से आप जो हैं, what you do, that rotation is called an observership. और when you are a medical student, if you come here, then that is considered an elective rotation, because it's like a hands-on experience. So that is one of the difference between electives, and elective is much better to do than an observership, क्योंकि अगर आपके letter of recommendation में ये लिखा हुआ होता है कि this person was an observer with me, तो उसकी इतनी ज़्यादा वैल्यू मेरे ख्याल में नहीं होती in as compared to in elective rotation, क्योंकि उसमें आपके जो letter of recommendation जो लिखते हैं वो भी बताते हैं कि इसने patient encounter कैसे किया and all this thing, but they are similar things depending on if you are doing before graduation or after graduation.
शुक्रिया।
मैम देयर आर आल्सो रिसर्च electives जो आप सेकंड ईयर के एंड में कर सकते हैं, मैंने किए हुए फर्स्ट ईयर और सेकंड ईयर में. You can get in touch with Ahan and I think Shifa, I'm not sure, लेकिन Ahan offers these at the end of your first and second year rotations to people from different medical colleges in Pakistan and abroad, and you can basically go spend time in a lab or try to get involved in the research project as well. So again, purpose will be to get like some letter of recommendation or या some publication. अगर इन दो चीजों नहीं मिल रही तो फिर they're not useful. But yes, I'll let Hashim and Saad also kind of chime in if they want to.
जो medical electives हैं, do we have to pay or they are just like free of cost, or do we have to pay for them?
Madam, almost majority of the electives, they are it depends के medical college की collaboration क्या है, जिस institution में student जा रहा है rotation करने. काफी जगहों पे there is collaboration, तो उन जगहों पे it's free. लेकिन आरी मेडिकल कॉलेज का I don't think so there is like more institutions that collaboration है. तो मेरे classmates who did electives, some of them they actually had to pay.
अच्छा जी,
ये जो है ये पे करना पड़ता है, and it's usually like a 1 month's pay जो फी होती है जो उनके मेडिकल कॉलेजेस की होती है. It comes around, I think it varies. कुछ इंस्टीट्यूशंस बहुत नॉमिनल सा चार्ज करते हैं, कुछ पूरे मंथ की आपको फी हो सकता है कि चार्ज करें उस रोटेशन की. और अगेन दिस इज स्टेप्ड अवे फ्रॉम द गुड ओल्ड डेज व्हेन इलेक्टिव पीपल वर गेटिंग पेड. खान और जब मैंने अप्लाई किया था तो वी एक्चुअली गॉट पेड एज सब इंटर्न्स टू डू दैट रोटेशन. तो उसके बाद फ्री हुआ और नाउ इट्स आई थिंक पेड.
अच्छा जी, सब बता. अच्छा, एक मेरा कंसर्न है, मेरी बेटी शिफा में पढ़ रही है इस्लामाबाद में. मुझे ये कंसर्न है कि मैं आई एम ए मेडिकल एजुकेशनिस्ट और मुझे ये पता चला है कि पाकिस्तान की जो रिकग्निशन है वो 2024 में ख़त्म हो रही है. तो आप लोगों के पास इसके बारे में क्या और उसमें क्या गाइडेंस देंगे, क्योंकि शी इज नाउ इन सेकेंड ईयर, शी विल बी स्टार्टिंग हर थर्ड ईयर इन जनवरी. तो उसमें आप क्या गाइड करेंगे कि आप लोगों का प्रोसेस कब शुरू करते हैं? किसी ने मुझे बताया लेट हर एंटर द प्रोसेस एंड अपीयर फॉर स्टेप 1 लेटर ऑन.
नहीं मैम, आई थिंक द अर्लियर यू स्टार्ट द बेटर, लेकिन जो दो चीजें हैं, जो रिकग्निशन है, आई थिंक दैट्स अ वेरी बिग इशू एंड उस पे अपना भी काम कर रहा है. आई मीन आवर फोरम इज क्वाइट हम्बल फॉर दैट. हमारे वो उस लेवल पे हम नहीं है, लेकिन अपना इज वर्किंग ऑन दैट. आई थिंक एनी अपडेट्स ऑन दिस गाइस कि अगर कोई आप लोगों को पता हो पीएमसी का या
उसमें कोई अपडेट तो नहीं आई थी, लेकिन जो अपना वालों ने खुद जो स्टेटमेंट्स दी थी वो तो ये कहा था कि ये वाला मसला हल हो जाएगा. और वैसे भी जितने मेडिकल ग्रेजुएट्स पाकिस्तान से आते हैं अमेरिका हर साल, अगर उनको वो बंद कर दें तो मेरे ख्याल में अमेरिकन सिस्टम को भी थोड़ा मसला होगा. इस वजह से आई थिंक इट वुड बी सॉल्व्ड एज फार एज, बट लाइक देयर इज नो एज सच न्यूज़. ये पिछले साल एक दफ़ा न्यूज़ चली थी कि उनकी वो पीएमडीसी पीएमसी की एसोसिएशन जो है वो ख़त्म हो जाएगी. लेकिन मेरे ख्याल में वो तो एक बेट ही है. अगर हम उस पर अगर बैठे रहेंगे, पता नहीं ख़त्म हो जाती है नहीं होती, तो वी विल लूज टाइम. जिन्होंने एक स्टेप 1 देने में $800-900 लगते हैं, जिसको अगर इतना शौक है, तो अगर मेरे से भी पूछे तो मैं उसको यही कहूँगा कि यार आप स्टेप 1 दो इस टाइम पे, और बाकी जो है बाद में वो देखी जाएगी क्या होती है. और मेरा ख्याल है आपका जो दूसरा क्वेश्चन तो ये था कि स्टेप 1 देने के लिए आपको प्रोसेस कितना जल्दी शुरू करना पड़ता है रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए. वो आई बिलीव के फर्स्ट टाइम जब आप यूएसएमएलई में अपीयर हो रहे हो, ईसीएफएमजी रजिस्ट्रेशन वगैरह उस सारे चक्कर में 6 to 7 मंथ्स पहले अगर आपका हो तो इफ यू स्टार्ट द प्रोसेस और यू आर इन अ सेफ जोन.
अच्छा जी, I'll just put down my email ID also. अगर कोई मुझे कोई कांटेक्ट, अगर मुझे किसी का व्हाट्सएप नंबर मिल सके तो जो मेरी क्वेरीज हैं, तो मैं आप में से किसी कोई भी जो भी अवेलेबल हो, तो अगर मुझे दे सके तो आई विल बी ग्रेटफुल.
ठीक है मैम. मैं आप एमकोलाना ग्रुप पे हैं मैम या
फेसबुक का ग्रुप है?
नहीं मैम, दिस इज अ व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप. तो मैं आप फेसबुक पे इफ यू कैन रीच आउट, मैं आपको आई एम विलिंग, और अगर इनमें से कोई भी दे वांट टू गिव, लेकिन ये कि यू कैन डेफिनेटली मैं अपना ईमेल आपको लिख देता हूँ.
ये मैंने आपको नंबर सेंड कर दिया है. अगर आप इसके ऊपर ना जो एमकोलाना ग्रुप है उसमें मुझे काइंडली अगर ऐड कर दें।
ठीक है मैम, मैं कर देता हूँ। तो I'll just let add you right now, तो मैं उसमें
एक हमारा जो है एक फेसबुक ग्रुप है जिसका नाम है स्टेपिंग स्टोन्स फॉर एमकोलियंस। उसमें भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा लाइक दैट इज़ एन एक्टिव ग्रुप। अगर किसी को कोई क्वेश्चन होकर वहाँ पे करें तो एनीवन रिस्पॉन्ड्स, कोई और नहीं तो मैं रिस्पॉन्ड कर ही देता हूँ।
No, absolutely. But guys, my sister Amber Shafiq is also here, so she's helped a lot with the technical issues. जो हुए थे, so there's a feedback link as well. Thank you so much, Amber Baji, for your help. And she's a faculty in Indiana in neuroradiology. So she's part of our board of directors at AMCOLANA. So she's putting out a feedback link. तो अगर आप करें, I think, guys, thank you so much for the presenters and everybody who's come in. I don't want to take more time, especially on the East Coast people. Nimra and Saad, you guys are, I think, well beyond your bedtime. तो लेकिन ये है कि thank you so much for presenting. आगे we will try to get more tailored talks with Hamad and talking about matching. Sir Salman and other people get involved as well. मैंने list बना ली है, तो whoever is willing can please, मैं आपको individually भी message करूंगा, group में भी हमारी research committee में you are on, so don't feel pressurized, but do if try to whenever if you can, तो आप लोग sign up करते रहें and then we'll try to get it. और finally our moderator has also joined in, Bilal भाई, I know you're a big shot man, तो लेकिन ये है कि 1.5 घंटा लेट है तू सिर्फ, तो बाकी है। Thank you so much for joining. और Bilal is one of our again very accomplished researcher and माशाल्लाह, thank you for volunteering. लेकिन अगले में हम will get more cohesiveness. अगर कोई भी feedback हो for people who have attended, please let me know. And again, Hashim, Saad, Mamoon, Bilal, you also please try to reach out to our folks. We need to grow the pool of mentors, but also the group of people who are applying, ताकि nobody gets overburdened. ठीक है, अब सर सलमान has very nicely offered. I also don't want कि एक ही बंदा या मतलब a few people, क्योंकि फिर वो burn out बहुत जल्दी हो जाता है, and then you burn out and then you cannot help a lot of other people, they feel disappointed. अब stepping stones हमने बहुत पहले शुरू किया, उसके बाद मैं things happen, तो definitely please spread the word as much as possible, get people involved not only in the education committee who are already established, but also try to get the word out through AMC. So very good, everybody. I'm very happy for how you guys participated. Thank you so much, Sir Salman. Thank you, Sir Suri, for taking your time out. Sir Noman had also come in, and Sir Rashid and the principal, so they all took time out. From a feedback point of view, I'm a little disappointed कि AMC से या CMH से medical students इतने नहीं show up हुए. It may have to do with the 7 a.m. Time in Pakistan, but अब we have to also cater to everybody. East Coast वाले और late होते जाते हैं. We have clinical duties, or there are other things that I have to cater for. So we can set the times, or कोई भी feedback हो from the presenters, या Sir Salman, या anybody who's listened in, या Sir Suri, who's our chair of our education committee, please let me know. Or we'll try to do these on a weekly basis. Not everybody has to come in on a weekly basis, लेकिन ये है कि माशाल्लाह we have enough people कि we can at least, क्योंकि this is the season where we need to drum up interest. Matches are coming up, rotations are coming up, people are going to be entering into the match cycle, and so not only do we need to get a cohesion in, उसमें जो है वो will get involved with that. Sir Suri, you were away, but Sir Salman has offered very kindly. He's saying that he has a lot of. Sir Salman, if you want to just reiterate your research projects, and you're a program director right now.
Yes, sir. I am the program director in internal medicine. Been here for about my current program. I'm here for about 9 years. I came and started this program. Before that, I was up in Jersey. I was the program director over there. So, Abhi, I have right now like 8 to 10 trials going on right now. We do a lot of research because it's so like we do like retrospective, prospective. A few I'm going on. So anybody who's like interested, I can hook them up depending upon what their future, what they hold in the future. They want cardiology, I can get them on into cardiology research. We're doing pulmonology. We have. I don't have a nephrology research trial going on right now. But if I have one, I'll ask anybody. But we have, I have 3 GI trials going on right now. But anything, I mean, whoever I know, I said I'm an MCOLIum. I know I when I got here, I did all my research in neurology and ended up in internal medicine. So at that time, there was nobody to guide or whatever. But that's a talk for another time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Sir. Sir Fareed is our head of our or chair of our education committee. So, Sir Fareed, inshallah, will I'll give you a feedback for this meeting. And but one thing, sir, जो थोड़ी सी deficiency रही थी was the AMC medical school और उनकी तरफ से presence was a little shy today. We'll try to drum that up a little bit more. So, do you want to say, sir, say any closing words before we end the meeting?
No, thank you, Umar, for this nice effort, and thank you all you guys for doing this. Sorry I had to leave. I got a call from the hospital, so I missed part of it. But inshallah, we will continue our efforts and just really appreciate what you guys have done today and what you are planning to do. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Again, I want to a special shout out to everybody, even Bilal. You know, next time you'll be the first up, okay? But Saad, Hashim, Mamoon, thank you everybody for your kind volunteering efforts. I know कि अपने time से everybody is volunteering out of their own. Ambabaji, thank you so much for your technical know-how because otherwise हमारा system crash कर रहा था. You made the meeting work. So thank you so much and thanks. Anything before we end this?
How we would know about the schedule? MCOLANA से ही पता चल जाएगा जो आप लोगों
Ma'am,
की
I will post on, that's a good question. We will post on, I'm trying to post on 5 different forums. MCOLANA is for the US graduates. उन पे मैं post कर रहा हूँ. But I will also post on the Facebook groups, which are MCOLIAN Alumni Association. I'm posting on the Mcolian Without Borders, which is another Facebook group. I'm also posting on the Stepping Stones for Mcolians, which is an old group. But that is another thing I'm open to. Bilal, yaar, if you know Saad, if you're have more recent contacts, please spread the word for our next forum. We will try to do more tailored thing. Bilal, what we've talked about is everybody has talked in. Sir Rashid was our president as well. उन्होंने भी बात की है, तो I'll send you this recording and I'll fill you in, inshallah. So thank you so much for offering to be on part of our education committee. Bilal does a lot of work with, as most of us know already.